Hey everybody, and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. And today I've got another CV strategy for those of you who have the Hakuryu. This time it involves the torpedo bombers that drops 4 of those torpedoes per drop. These are the longer arming distance, longer range torpedoes. They're a little bit difficult to use when you're trying to use them as a precision strike weapon, but this strategy doesn't involve any of that. In fact, this strategy is about as brainless as you can probably get. And what you're basically going to be doing is treating your Hakuryu's torpedo bombers as if they were basically a super fast flying destroyer. And what I mean is, think of it as you have a Shimakaze-like ship, and you can go 200 knots, and you can have multiple waves of torpedoes in, let's say, 40 seconds, roughly. And basically what you're going to be doing is dropping as many of these torpedoes as you humanly can within the span of one battle. And you're basically going to cause the enemy team to get corralled into a corner because they're going to be freaking out. You don't really have to worry about AA because you don't really spend much time in AA anyways. As you can see, I'm just dropping. And what you're doing is basically targeting an area. You're not even targeting a ship. You're just like, there's a rough general direction that these ships might go. Just going to drop these torpedoes, and then I'm going to bring them back. Send out the next squadron of torpedo bombers, rinse, repeat for the entire battle. Now, if you want to set up your carrier, what you're probably going to want is you want all the things that involve torpedo bombers that you can, and if you have to make a selection between, let's say, HP and speed, you pick speed. That's it. Oh, and one really important one is don't take Concealment Expert, just take that faster cycling module that also gives you +2 deck space. And that's it. This whole battle is going to be doing this rinse repeat. So all those things about, hey, AA and all that, you don't really worry about it. Don't spend too much time in AA. And flak, as long as you don't take the super random salvos, with this strategy you probably won't because you're going in really, really fast. You'll notice that most of my approaches are 200 plus knots and I'm doing a little wiggle there. And, oh, by the way, when you're doing that dive, you're pretty much invulnerable anyways. So just do this and, you'll watch the enemy team's behavior. They're going to spend the entire game either dodging or they're going to be spending the entire game eating damage. That's basically the point. And like I said, don't even have to worry about flak much. You just go in, drop, 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 drop. And because every time as soon as you pretty much get down to wave level and you see that your reticle, it doesn't even have to be super tight. As long as it starts to sort of tighten up, you just drop it. Because you're not targeting a ship, you're just targeting an area. And I'll show you 2 battle examples because I've sort of been doing this and it's pretty effective. And because there's, like I said, multiple things that you actually end up doing. You accomplish a lot of things even if you actually don't hit stuff because you force the enemy team to have to turn, show broadsides when they don't want to show broadsides. And of course, the other thing is this strategy works super, super, super well if the enemy actually gets scared of you because the more scared of you they become, the more they cluster up. The more they cluster up, the less you have to give a damn about which particular target you're going to hit. You can just drop torpedoes in their general direction, and with 8-kilometer torpedoes you are going to get some hits and you're going to get some floodings and you're going to get damage. Like, see, I'm not joking. This is all I do for the entirety of this battle. Also, do pay attention to the positioning of the enemy's top tier battleships, these 2 Grosser Kurfürsts. Look at where they started, look where they're going to go during the entire course of this battle. Pretty much the answer is they're not really ever going to leave their starting points. They're going to get corralled into that area, and they spend this entire game basically playing Torpedobeats. Yeah, so the strategy that I came up with the other day, where you do 1 strike, you press the F key, well, with this one, hell, you don't even really need to press the F key. You can actually do all 3 drops in sequential order and just flood an area with torpedoes because realistically by the time they finish dodging your first wave of torpedoes, your next wave of planes is here and you can just do it all over again. So there we go. If you have a Hakuryu and you kind of want a strategy to do crazy things, this is something you can give it a go for sure, because it doesn't really take all that much. And you'll notice that the AA is very ineffective because my planes are just diving down, dropping their weapons load, and then popping right back up, and pretty much not even interacting much with the AA, to say the least. And as long as you can keep this up, which is actually quite easy, because again, you have slightly faster servicing of aircraft, and you had those +2 extra deck space, you can just keep doing this for the whole game, because you're not taking much in terms of losses when you're doing the attacks, right? You're attacking, maybe you lose a plane here and there, maybe 2 planes here and there, but most of them are coming back. And so then you have another squadron that's mostly full. I mean, you can be down to, like, let's say even 9 planes, and that's still 2 whole waves of torpedoes. That's perfectly adequate. So you just basically keep sending them, keep flooding an area, and just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And you'll notice that the enemy team's ships are actually just clustering together because they can't get out of this area. Because they've just finished dodging, they've just dealt with whatever, and here comes the planes again, right? Look at these poor curvers. Like, what are they going to do? They're also exposing their sides to my team ship. So if you're angled as a battleship, this strategy is terrible for you because you don't even get a chance because you're constantly having to play torpedo beats. That's basically what you're doing. Now, that squadron got hurt a little bit, so I pressed the F key. So yeah, I still did press the F key when I didn't want the squadron to return because that was taking a little bit of damage. All right, there we go. A couple more torpedo hits, and so far we are about almost 6 minutes into the game. I'm sitting 89,000 damage, and the enemy team is very well controlled, and that's pretty much it. This reminds me in a way of like sort of the old Shima days, like the really old Shima days where the Shimas were the one that would control the field, and then later on there was the time when we tried those super early Cobbs with the stealth fire that allows you to corral people. With these new CVs, the Hakuryu can basically do that role, and it is an excellent ship at doing this particular role. And the more afraid they become, and this is amazing, right? The more scared the enemy battleships become, the more they cluster up, the worse it gets for them, because I'm not targeting anybody. Oh, and when they do finally decide that they don't want to cluster together, well, it's bad for them too, because then you can just go after them individually and you can still get a ton of damage that way. And you'll notice that the runs are like super quick. I'm not even lingering. I'm not spending time inside anybody's continuous damage AA. None of that nonsense. You're just going in, dropping a spread of torpedoes, and you're bailing out basically. That's all I'm doing. And it's rinse, repeat constantly, right? And you'll notice that pretty much by the time we get to, I think like 8 or 9 minutes, this battle is pretty much decided because their top tier battleships are both gone. Everybody else is just too scared and completely out of position. Take a look at where one of their one of their North Carolinas, like look at that positioning, like literally on the A line behind where their carrier starting position is, right? Seattle's back there as well. That Kurfürst who is flooding, like he wasn't having much fun earlier. Well, here is another wave of torpedoes if he didn't die to shells, and yes, he is going to die to shells, so that's a bit of a missed drop. Hey, had he actually not died, you know, I could have gotten some more damage off of him too. So I'll get the other drop on this other Kurfürst right here. Okay, one remaining plane. Who cares about that? I'll bring that one back. Send up the next squadron. And you'll also notice my CV position. Because I'm doing this and I'm actually corralling them away and pushing the ships away, that I have the ability to actually move closer. The closer I move, the more effective I become, right? Anyways, there it is. There's the other Kurfürst dead. I'm sitting at 174,000 damage. And this is not 8 minutes into the game. And it's pretty much decided. I mean, our team still has a lot more ships, a lot more of the bulkier ships that is going to be hard for their surface ships to deal with, while they're down to, you know, cruisers and the lone destroyer. The North Carolina is still really scared, hiding in the back there. There we go. I'm going to just kind of drop in their general vicinity again, and I think I might have landed one hit on this pass, but, you know, anyways, game's pretty much decided, and I do want to show you the other example as well, because both of these games were pretty short. So give me a second here. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, I'm going to drop that last one. Okay, another squadron up. Let's see what happens here. I think I'm going to get one hit there. I'm going to top out here, maybe 180k damage in 9 minutes. I guess that's not bad, right? That's not too bad. All right, wait, there it is. No, wait. Where is that torpedo hit? Ah, there it is. There's a torpedo hit, and 179,000, 180,000 because of the flooding tick. Perfect. There we go. And that game's pretty much done. So let's show you the other battle as well. So very similar strategy once again, right? You don't have to take off with rocket planes, because you know how people say you go with rocket planes. That was my first thought. Like, you know, rocket planes, they do a lot of scouting. That's kind of nice, but you know, the torpedo bombers, they're pretty fast, especially the Japanese ones. They're not as fast as the fighters, but you're going to get there anyways. You're going to spot them anyhow. And the torpedo bombers have far better chance of actually doing early damage. Rocket planes, yeah, you might get a shot in here, a shot in there, but in terms of damage that actually will scare an enemy ship, rocket planes don't really do that. Torpedoes, though, that'll scare people, because that'll also potentially cause flooding, cause people to pop their damage control, which then causes them to be more passive in the beginning. Because if they were to go out after having used their damage control, they become easy targets for fires and things like that. So, you know, torpedo bombers works just as well, in my opinion. And here we go. By the way, this side over here has like 2 AA spec Des Moines. Don't really care. It doesn't really matter because as long as you don't run into a flat cloud, which I won't if I'm just doing this like, you know, dive, drop strategy and I don't stay in this continuous AA much, then I'm fine. Like I'll take a bit of damage there, but I'll pull the whole squadron back. Might lose like 1 or 2 planes there, but it's nothing severe. Okay, launch the next wave once again. And I don't even really have to explain anymore. This is basically the strategy, and you could go out there, and if the enemy team is like super bunched up in a ball, this strategy is perfect. Just drop, and eventually you're going to rack up that damage. Sure, there's some other factors, you know, who gets flooded. I mean, in this case, you know, like if I pursue this flooding on this NC by dropping another wave on him, cause him to perma flood, then, you know, I can rack up a ton of damage early on, right? My strategy is still to just kind of mess with their whole group of ships, right? Don't really care about one particular target unless they become super isolated. They're still relatively-ish together. It would be best if they all had the same direction of travel too. That'd be even more amazing. But in terms of damage potential, I mean, it depends. I would say the minimum you could look at is like 100k a game minimum. And there's not really any ceiling because it really depends on the enemy team comp. If you have a really heavy enemy battleship comp that all sticks together, then you could rack up 300k, 400k damage. I don't really think that'll be too difficult either. Anyhow, you can see on the mini-map that there's torpedoes heading in that direction, right? So take a look. Those torpedoes are heading there, and there's 3 waves of them in total. So a ship over there has to basically dodge them, right? So think about it. They got to deal with these 3 waves of torpedoes. And take a look at where my planes are. Oh, there we go. I got a flooding on someone. Not sure who it is. Planes are coming in here. Oh, okay, so I did hit that Musashi there. So that Musashi has just finished dealing with the last wave of torpedoes. And look at where my planes are. Like, hello, I'm back. Don't you just hate yourself right now? Like, see? And I'm back right here, and I'm just dumping waves at him again. So what is he going to do? He's going to have to dodge. He's going to have to try to torpedo beat. And all this time when he's doing that, what do you think he's doing with his guns? Not really shooting. He's not really doing anything else other than maneuvering, other than trying to keep himself safe. That's about it. And so a tremendous amount of time by enemy ships can be wasted using the strategy as well. You make them not shoot, and by not shooting, their maximum damage they can accomplish in a game starts going down because they don't fire their guns because you're sitting there making them do a giant torpedo beat mini game. That's basically what you're doing. You're like generating a torpedo beat game for them. Would you like to dodge torpedoes? How about some more? That's essentially what you're doing constantly. I think that Musashi is currently flooding out there. Yep, and he's just eaten another torpedo, so he's going to flood some more. I think I might want to go and just bomb him again. I want to make sure he's dead here. Yep, another wave of torpedo bombers here, and this time I can actually just go in all the way. He's pretty much by himself here, right? You can see there's no surrounding ships near him, so there we go. Drop another wave of torpedoes. All right, I got a few more planes. Going to turn around here, and I'm going to pop some torpedoes at this North Carolina as well. Just put him in that path, so he's got to try to maneuver as well. Okay, and there we go. Musashi is gone. And so 5 minutes into the game, 101,000 damage. So that's pretty good. Yep. Okay, gotta, I think, call that last plane back there. Might have lost it to the A. Yeah, I did lose it to the A. That's okay. I've still got 2 full groups of 8 planes each coming back. And if you take a look at what I have on the deck, I've got 1 more torpedo bomber. So when those come back and they land, I will have a squadron of 9 ready, minimum, right? Because this squadron here is a full squad. So you can basically keep doing this. In fact, what I found with this particular strategy is if everything goes perfectly and you lose minimal airplanes, you can end up getting 2 full squadrons cycling constantly. Because eventually what will happen is you'll recharge enough where you'll have like 14 planes on the deck, even when you have a full squadron now. So that's more than the maximum 20 that you would start with, right? You can actually get more because they're actually out there. And then as long as you keep launching them off before the other squadron comes back, you can basically have 2 full squadrons. And so this North Carolina, I'm just going to drop, yep, see, notice that? 3 full waves of drop. Didn't even care that the Des Moines was there because all I had to worry about there was pretty much his continual DPS. And as long as his continual DPS didn't kill me, I can get the torpedoes off. And that North Carolina now has to play another torpedo dodging mini game. He can't actually, oh, actually, no, took a torpedo there. He's got waves coming in. He's got more waves coming in. Enemy Chapayev here, like, what is he going to do? He dead? All right, no problem. Yep, turning my planes around. And I'm just going to suppress that area. I got another torpedo hit on something. I think it was at NC again. Alright, bringing the planes over here. Let me see what I can bomb this time. Oh, actually, I think the NC actually decided that he's gonna be coming to the south. Oh, no, 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 no. You don't get to do that. No, not at all. So here, another wave. That wave also kind of covers that Des Moines as well, because, hey, why not if we can get torpedo drops on him? And, okay, that last plane, I'm just gonna try to bring that back. All right, that's fine. Get the majority of those airplanes back, another squadron up. Rinse and repeat, and you can just keep doing this. And there is nothing that's going to stop you. Okay, something flooded. Something got a flood, and that flood I think is going to stick now. Yeah, that flood's going to stick a while. I think that might have been the North Carolina who ate that one too. So, yep, that flood's going to stick. And I'm going to keep going. This storm is actually kind of annoying for CV because it takes away a lot of your vision. But with this playstyle, it also doesn't matter. You can play in a typhoon and it won't matter because you're just dropping torpedoes at general blobs of things and picking up damage where you can. Enemy team, I think there's a Torpedobeats to the north along with a Lexington and a Haku as well. Okay, 132,000 damage. That's not too bad. Oh, and the fighters are totally useless. Like, the fighters are just absolutely useless. You might as well just drop them to deal with other fighters just for air kills, because air kills gives you experience. That's like pretty much what I do it for now. But okay, there we go. There's a Torpedobeats. There's a Lexington. I think I'm going to get close to the Torpedobeats first and maybe like do some drops. Realistically, I think now, like even at this situation with the Torpedobeats, I could have just gone closer. I really should have just gone really close and dropped the wave at him, but whatever. The strategy is just dump torpedoes in his general direction and, you know, we'll see what happens, right? So got 2 waves off. Still got a flight of 4. See, his A is not helping him at all right now, like nothing. And the HP bar disappeared on the replay. This is amazing. Alrighty, that's fine. By the way, this was a full squadron, right? Because you'll see 4, 4, and 4, and you look at the amount of planes I have on deck right now, 12. So that's an entire full squadron, right? So as those planes are coming back, launch the next full squadron. So now, essentially, if you think about it, I have 24 torpedo bombers cycling. That's more torpedoes than a Kitakami could have dropped back in the day. At least per side. Okay, per side. I know the Kikita could drop a lot more if you count both sides. But on a per side basis, you know, hey, I can drop 24 torpedoes and just keep an area saturated with torps and cause the enemy team to be able to do pretty much nothing. And that's the pinnacle of the strat. Make the enemy team really, really annoyed, and that their entire combat plans goes from capturing caps and pushing on this flank to dodging torps, dodging torps, dodging torps, dodging. That's all you're going to do. That's pretty much it. And it works. As long as you make their key ships sort of impotent and they can't really do stuff, then your team has the opportunity to go for wins. And, you know, and it doesn't really take much in terms of actual skill, because you'll notice that this is pretty basic stuff. You just go in these banks. You'll see these banks that I'm doing, right? Like I'm just banking and then diving in and dropping this wave of torps and then clicking for the next plane as soon as that one's ready. Click. This one dives down, drop the torps, retreat. Highly skilled CV play, right, guys? Yeah, air quotes, massive sarcasm in that sentence, but holy God. Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel dirty playing it. I only played a couple of games and I said, wow, this is an absolutely broken thing. Really don't want to play this. I think I might just go down and play like tier 1s and 2s now, like just no CVs, no AA to worry about. Just like go straight back down and play the old World War I pre-Dreadnought era ships, like, because this is just, oh my lord. This is not good. This is not a good system. Like the AA CV system in this rework needs a freaking rework. Like, this is terrible. This is actually terrible. And I mean, the game's pretty much done here. I might pick up a little bit more damage here on these last 2 CVs here. I think gonna get maybe another torpedo hit on this Lexington, I think. He's kind of sailing in a straight line. Oh, yeah, and also, this is not very good for enemy CVs as well. Like, if you're doing this kind of stuff at the end, like, they're also spending quite a bit of their time having to defend by going to their mini-map and retasking their CVs in terms of where they want to go, while you're just able to drop those torpedoes and have the next squadron going after them again. And there we go. The torpedo hit, that's 160k damage. I mean, the game is already done. It's over, right? We've had every single cap for the longest time. I think the Hakuryu's trying to get behind an island here, just to escape from the NC. Oh, there's another hit there, 167k damage. See if I can maybe get another hit in on this Haku or not. I don't know. Just have to see. If this NC dies, no, never mind. If the NC died, I could have picked up a little bit more damage because, you know, they would have gotten some points there. Hakuryu is at 30k health. I might be able to get a bit more damage out of him if I get a good wave on him. Alright, but this one I'm going to drop close if I can. Alright, he's going behind an island. This is going to be a little bit more annoying because as soon as I do this, he might just disappear. No, actually, no. He's going to stay spot. No, unspotted. But he's already taken too much damage. He's got 4k HP left here. Alright, so I'm going to just drop this. Ooh. I think this is done. Yeah, this is done. This is definitely done because he's taking way too much damage that I'm not going to be able to get those torpedoes. They would have hit, actually. It was a nice wave of torpedoes. Might have actually hit. Got to some damage there. 200. Boom. Dead. All their points canceled out. And so those two battles, there we go. This is the victory screens at the end. 180k damage for the Islands of Ice battle. Yeah, that's the one where I got 21 hits and really screwed over their curve firsts, second on the team there in terms of base experience. And like I said, these games are ending way too quick. If they actually lasted longer, if these went like the full 19 minutes and there was more battleships, I probably could have gotten some more damage. Then that was the North battle here, 167k damage, also 20 hits with torpedoes, 7 floodings. So yeah, there we go. This is what you want to do as a CV. Top of the team there in terms of base experience, 1,742. So, you know, hey, if you have a Hakuryu, go out there, try this strategy, and let me know what you think. Anyways, folks, take care. Have yourselves a good one, and I'll talk to all of you again soon.